The rain poured endlessly, tapping against the roof of the small wooden house like a cruel reminder of what was about to happen. Inside, an elderly woman named Maria stood in the middle of the room, clutching two old brown suitcases. Her hands trembled as she looked around. Every corner of that house held memories, her children's laughter, her late husband's voice, the warmth of holidays long gone. Now the same walls that once echoed with love vibrated with cold silence. In front of her stood her three grown children, Lena, Alex, and Sophia, their faces firm, eyes filled not with love, but irritation. "Mom," said Lena, her voice sharp as broken glass. "We've talked about this. You can't live here anymore. You're too much for us. You'll be better off in the home for the elderly." Maria's heart froze. Her lips parted, but no words came. "A nursing home?" she finally whispered. "This is my home, our home. I raised you here." Alex looked away, guilt flickering across his face. "Mom, you don't understand. We need space. You can't keep interfering in our lives." Maria felt her knees weaken. She had given everything, her youth, her health, her dreams, to raise these children. Now they stood before her like strangers. She took a step closer, tears mixing with the raindrops that had begun to seep through the open door. "I don't need much," she pleaded. "Just a corner in my own house. I don't want to be a burden." Sophia, the youngest, folded her arms. "You're not listening. This is what's best for everyone." Maria looked at them one by one, searching for a trace of love, but saw only cold determination. The storm outside roared louder, matching the one inside her heart. Finally she sighed, realizing her words meant nothing. Without another word, she lifted her suitcases and stepped out into the pouring rain. The path leading away from the house was muddy, but she didn't care. Her tears blended with the rain as she walked barefoot down the road. Behind her, the door slammed shut, and with it, the last warmth of her family's love disappeared. Inside the house, silence fell. Lena exhaled deeply. "It's for her own good," she muttered. But the uneasy look in her siblings' eyes said otherwise. Outside, Maria stumbled along the lonely path. She remembered the nights she stayed awake nursing her sick children, the meals she skipped so they could eat, the love she poured into every moment. Now that love had been repaid with exile. By the time she reached the small bus stop on the edge of town, her dress was soaked through and her legs trembled from exhaustion. No one was there, just an empty bench and the endless sound of rain. She sat down slowly, setting her suitcases beside her. For the first time in her life, Maria felt completely alone. But fate, it seemed, was not done with her story yet. As the bus headlights approached through the mist, she was startled when the driver stepped out, an older man with kind eyes. "Madam, you shouldn't be out in weather like this," he said. She looked up and recognized him. Ivan, her childhood friend from decades ago, the one who had loved her once before she married another. He recognized her immediately. "Maria, is that really you?" Her eyes widened in disbelief. "Ivan? After all these years?" He helped her into the bus, wrapped his own coat around her shoulders, and said softly, "Let's get you warm. You don't deserve to be alone like this." As the bus pulled away, Maria looked out the window at the house fading into the distance. The pain still burned, but somewhere deep inside, a flicker of hope began to glow again. Life wasn't done with her, not yet. Weeks passed. The children went on with their lives, convincing themselves they'd done the right thing. But the house didn't feel the same. The air was heavy, the food tasteless, the laughter gone. Every corner of the house whispered her name. Mama. Lena began having nightmares, dreams of her mother standing in the rain, calling her name. Alex couldn't focus at work, and Sophia cried alone at night. Their guilt grew unbearable. They tried to call the nursing home to check on her, but she was nowhere to be found. The staff said she never arrived. Panic set in. Meanwhile, Maria was living quietly in a small village with Ivan. He had taken her in without hesitation. Together, they repaired an old cottage by the lake, turning it into a warm, peaceful home. Maria began smiling again, tending flowers, baking bread, and finding comfort in Ivan's kind company. He often told her, "You gave so much love, Maria. The world owes it back to you now." One morning, a black car stopped outside her little home. When she opened the door, she saw her 3 children standing there drenched and trembling, just as she had been that rainy day. "Mom," Lena's voice cracked. "We're so sorry. We were wrong. We've been looking for you for weeks." Maria looked at them quietly. Tears filled her eyes, but she didn't rush to embrace them. The pain hadn't vanished, but neither had her heart. She turned to Ivan, who nodded gently. "Go on," he whispered. She stepped forward and placed a hand on her daughter's cheek. "I forgive you," she said softly. "But don't ever forget, a mother's love is not something you throw away when it's inconvenient." The children broke down crying, hugging her tightly. For the first time, they understood what they had done. That day they stayed with her, helping her cook, laughing and remembering the warmth they'd lost. Later that evening, as the sun set over the lake, Maria looked up and whispered a prayer of gratitude. Sometimes life takes everything away, only to give it back when you've truly learned its value. And from that day on, the children never let her out of their sight again.